Please give me a moment while I connect to Facebook. And I think we should be live on Facebook. Hi everybody, welcome to another weekly video of the Strategic Swing Trader. I am Sami Abu Saad, Director of Education at T3 Live. Hope you're doing well. We're gonna do what we always do, which is go over some swing ideas for next week, for this week. But before we do that, I have to share with you a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. Also, real quick, if you'd like to download a copy of my free ebook, link for that is in the description. Link for it is in the description. But without further ado, let's go ahead and turn on the charts and get started. If you'd like to help support the T3 Live channel, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps us out a lot. First, the market. Okay, so the market, I think we probably bottomed. We were doing lower highs, lower lows, right? And we put in an equal low that was on Wednesday. The last high right here, so 3 lower highs, 3 lower lows, and then we had an equal low and an equal high, slightly higher high. So I think the market bottomed, even though it's been really sloppy. We just need to take out Friday's high. If we can take out 330.86, let's just say 331, then I would be back to bullish. It will also trigger a weekly buy setup on the chart of the Qs, which is the tracking ETF for the NASDAQ 100, if you didn't know. Now, I do think this is not going to be as bullish of a market as we've seen so far this year or last year, because you can see a lot of candles at the top. When there's a lot of candles at the top, that suggests distribution. Unlike when you have just a simple pivot, a V pivot, that suggests strength. So we should, when you get those 1 to 3 candles, you should go right back up as soon as the last bar's high gets taken out. But when you have a lot of candles at the top, that suggests that the sellers are pretty strong compared to the buyers. So there's a lot more selling than buying. And then the SPY remains a lot stronger than the Qs. But I would say the same picture. We have the double bottom and we have the equal highs. We just need to take out at least 418.20 before resuming that bullish bias, which again started on Wednesday of last week. That's when we bottomed. Okay, so I gave you kind of an easy way to tell, and I'm gonna be back to bullish if especially the Qs takes out 330.86, or to make it simpler, 331. Okay, now on to the swing ideas for this week. If you'd like to just copy and paste this list, I copied and pasted it myself into the description of the video, so you wouldn't have to type it up. So if you'd like to go to the description of the video below, you can copy it, paste it into your watch list, and let's go over it together. ACAD, I talked about it last week. It never triggered, meaning it never took out the highs. Remember, we like stocks. I look at stocks always with a line in the sand, meaning I need the stock to take out that line in the sand, that resistance area, before I get bullish on it. Or if I'm looking at it as a short, then I need to see it break that support. And so ACAD did not trigger. I still like it higher over 22.33. Okay, 22.33 as a long with a stop under this pivot, which is 20.60. And then, in terms of the target, the gap fill. You see that gap right here? So when the stock fills the gap around 25 bucks, it should encounter some resistance. So this is just a swing idea, not a long-term trade. I am going to share with you some long-term trades in a minute. By the way, if you're a subscriber to my newsletter, to the Strategic Swing Trader, feel free to log on to your account right now, and you'll see which plays I picked for my own account and for the newsletter, okay? Next on the list is the ADT. ADT is a breakout, but also more than a breakout. It's a 1, 2, 3 pattern. A 1, 2, 3 is when you have a base breakout and then you get a doji bar, and so you get that 1, 2, 3. So long over here, stop right here. Okay, on the ADT, this bar's high is 1030, stop under 1008. So it's only a 22-cent stop on the ADT. BTG is gold. I was right about gold. Gold has been doing well the last couple weeks. And so BTG is the next thing on the list as a breakout that hasn't broken out with gold. I like it higher over 537. Stop could be as tight as 514. If you want to give it more room, then you can use 495. It's a monthly buy setup on the BTG. Okay, it's a monthly buy setup. Okay, so here is the first long-term idea. Now, if we look at the Fang Stocks, or the biggest tech companies out there, you know, Apple under the 20, declining 20, doesn't look so good. Google is the second most bullish, by the way. Facebook is number 1, Google is number 2. It's almost at the, I mean, it's very close to the all-time high. Amazon, not really. It's under the declining 20 on the daily chart. Not very good. Microsoft is okay. It just needs to, it's like the Qs. It needs to trigger on the weekly chart. It needs to take out last week's high, which is 248.33. And then it's a weekly buy setup. Would be good. Facebook is much more bullish than any of the other Fang stocks, and is already, it's Facebook and Google are the only two, but I think, I don't even know, I'm not even sure that that Google is above the 20, barely. But Facebook is above the 20. I like it as a long-term trade if it can take out this bar's high. If it doesn't, then no trade. But I like Facebook over 220. And then stop, there's two places to put it. 303.50 or 298.19 as a long-term trade. I don't like it as a swing trade. It doesn't have an explosive setup that I would expect to get to target in a day or 2 or 3 days, like I normally do with the swing trades. But this is more of a long-term trade that I like. Now, the two other ones that I like are not Apple, not Amazon, but Google, which I had. And it's funny, it's back to the exit. And I thought I did a wonderful job getting out of it at the top. It's back to the exit pretty much. So I like Google, pretty bullish. And I also like Microsoft, not as bullish, but has a much cleaner pattern on the weekly chart, that pullback. So it just needs to take out 248.33 with a stop under last week's low, which is 238.60, or to be safe, 238 even, the whole number. So over 248, so it's about an $18 stop. It's a big stop. And I prefer Facebook over Microsoft. But Facebook, Microsoft, and Google. If the market does end up taking out Friday's high and continue higher, those are the three big names that I like. GME, how about that? I don't trade crazy stocks, but GME is looking good. Now, it doesn't look quite perfect, unfortunately. If it can base for a couple more days, like Monday, Tuesday, and triggers on Wednesday, then yes. But I still think it's worth a shot. Over 189.20, which would be over this bar's high. 189.20, it's got a weekly buy setup. And target on it, okay, maybe is that 280 or 250? I don't remember. 283. And could it get to 348? I doubt it, but it might. So I like it over 189.20 as a long on the GME, okay? Here is another long-term idea. It does not look good as a short-term play, meaning if this triggers, I wouldn't be expecting it to explode and get going right away. Over $31 as a long-term play on the HEAR. It's a tech stock. Okay, and then HGEN is like the ADT, is a 1, 2, 3, but it's slightly better. Over this bar's high, stop under it, a couple cents above, and I would put the stop a couple cents below, and then I would target probably $23 or so. This bar's high, $23.60. That's not bad. That's $3. HRL, another 1, 2, 3. So over this bar's high, over $50. The whole number also. stop under 49.27. It's got resistance above, it's not free and clear. That's 50.86, and then the real target on it would be $52. But obviously I'm not gonna go with all of these. I picked a few for my own account and the newsletter, but those are the watches at least. Okay, INGR. This thing has been a challenge to me because I really like it a lot on the monthly, but it just is not going. If it takes out this bar's high, which is 95.89, I like it higher with a stop under 94.38. It's a daily buy setup, but better yet is a monthly breakout, monthly transition A. We got triggered into the EPC like Thursday or Friday, I don't even remember. Same pattern. See how that transition A, that breakout on the monthly chart, ended a downtrend that started in 2015. That's 4 or 5 years ago. 5-6 years ago. So I like it. This is the same exact, but this triggered already. We got in it, I think, on Friday or Thursday. Friday. Okay. Now INGR is the same exact pattern on the monthly chart. It's been in a downtrend since 2018 and just broke the downtrend earlier this year. So I like it higher to at least, really 107.50 would be the bare minimum. It could, if the market resumes the uptrend and starts to get bought again, then maybe this goes back up to even 140, the all-time high. INO has a transition A. I was in it short here, but I got trailed out. This day I got trailed out, but I was in it short, and now notice how this is the 20 period moving average. That blue line got underpriced and is starting to point up. So it's starting to curl and point up. So I like it higher over 728 with a stop under 670 and target again the gap fill. When you have a gap right here, an overhead gap, then the fill gives you, you get resistance there. So 850 I would use as the target for the INO. Jazz is another long-term idea. So Jazz on the weekly chart has like a 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first bar is bar number 1, that breakout bar, and then bar 2 and 3 are narrow range bars, and then if we take out over 181.50, then that would trigger a 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern on the weekly chart. I like it higher. It's got resistance, so that's the only issue with it, at 194. So you have about $14 or so, $15 to target on the Jazz. MAC is a transition A breakout on the monthly chart, and so on the daily chart has just a breakout over 1486, so over the entire base. Now when a stock gets crushed like this, a lot of people think, oh my god, now it lost 50% from 26 to 12. It means it's on a discount. It's on sale. Let's buy it. And they think it's gonna go right back up. No, it doesn't. It usually takes a long time for the stock to recover. You have to think of stock prices not like the supermarket, but more like people. If a person were to fall off the 10th, the second story level, right, off the balcony, he's not gonna just dust off and get and keep walking. And no, he's gonna be going to the hospital for a while probably, if he survives it at all. If somebody was walking down the street and just tripped up, and yes, sure, he'll be able to get right back up and continue walking. But so this is the case. This is like somebody falling off the balcony, and they're not going to be able to again get going right away, which is why it's taken since February through the end of May now. So that's 4 months, and it still is not really the favorite idea that I have for tomorrow. But I think it's worth a shot over 1486 long, and then target. It has plenty of room. But stocks don't, like most stocks, don't just go without the market. So if this were to get back up to the prior high, it's gonna need a bullish market. It's gonna need a nice, healthy bullish market. If the market isn't there, okay, it might break out and pop to 16, maybe even 18, but it would be unlikely for it to just keep going. Okay, so, and nobody knows about the market. I review the market on a daily basis, and I try to figure out where it's headed and what it's going to do in the future, and I share that bias or that game plan with you once a week on the weekend. But nobody knows for sure, and you have to be able to adjust right away if the market changes, because the market can change quickly. You have to also be able to adjust your plan and your bias right away as well. So at any rate, I like the MAC long over 1486. PAA is oil, and oil is up a lot, probably going to slow down, but I don't think oil is topped out yet. PAA, breakout. Over the base, stop right here, and target the prior high, which is around 12 bucks. Not bad. The only thing I don't like about it is the fact that it's far from the 20. I like my entries to be right off the 20. So over this prior top, which is 1060, stop under 996, target 12 bucks on the PAA. USAS is what I call the gap fade. But this wasn't much of a gap. When you have a gap down and the stock starts to base and give you a breakout, you can actually play the breakout for a retracement. We're in the ARRY. It triggered on Thursday, and I added to it on Friday. It's the same thing. So down a lot, gaps down, bases, and then the 20. As long as the 20 MA comes from underneath the 20 the price, then you can play the breakout. So we're in it from $15. The entry was $15.01. So over $14.98, I put it at $15.01. And so this is the same, USAS. But not as good, doesn't have as much room. Maybe it gets to $2. That's only not even 30 cents. But if you're okay with that, it has enough reward to risk in terms of percentage. In terms of, the entry would be over $1.72, stop under $1.60 or so, 63. So that's 10 cents. If it gives you 30 cents, that's 3-to-1 reward to risk. Okay, the array, the one that I showed you, has much more room, but you would have had to be a subscriber, and then you would have been able to see my call on it on Thursday. And let's hope it follows through now that I talked about it. Okay, on to the shorts. The first thing I want to say about the shorts is that the retail stocks look like they topped out. Look at the AEO monthly chart. I mean, wow. Did they just cure cancer or something? I mean, look at this. AEO, American Eagle Outfitters. GPS, similar. That's the Gap store, right? KSS already kind of came in, gap down, I think, on Friday. LB, Limited Brands, from 10 to 70. So we got a bunch of these retail stocks on the list, okay, that I like lower, but I also like them to play for earnings. A lot of them have LB and KSS, I think, reported. LB, I was in it short as an earnings play. So it gapped down. I was in it as a short, but not much, okay? Didn't really make much. I like them all short, but I also would like to play them into earnings short if they set up. AEO has and I think GPS have the best two setups out of these four that I have on my list. And there's more than four, but the other ones are too late. Like RH, Restoration Hardware, is down a lot, or is down over $100, but that's not the point. The point is it doesn't have such a good setup. What else? I mean, there's a bunch of other retailers, but I think the best four are on this list, and the best two of the four are the AEO and the GPS. They both have a 1, 2, 3 setup. So under 32.50, stop over 33.70, short. And GPS would be under 32.34, 32.29. Let's just be safe. Give it a little bit of room until it breaks this pivot rather than just here. And then under 32.29 with a stop over 33.26. And then the KSS, I'm not looking to play it, but it also has another 1, 2, 3. So short under the SPARS low, stop above it, and then target $40 or so. But it's not going to get there in a day or two, or even a week or two. It might take a lot longer. Okay, this reminds me of the pins. Similar. Had a gap down, and we shorted it. It got to target in just a few days. See this gap down, 1, 2, 3, in it short. Now the target was 60 and it got there already, but it continued much lower than that. It got down to 54. So okay, so we talked about these four, and then AMWL is a base breakdown. So short under 1160. Let's just double check. Yeah, 1160. Stop over 1240, 1239, and target the prior pivot low around 975 or so. Okay, so under the base, stop above it. BDTX, this was my best trade on Thursday. I think it was a breakdown on it. Under the whole number too, I think. 20-cent stop, there it is. It wasn't under the whole number, under 15. I thought it was a 20-cent stop, under 15.20 or so, I thought. But 15.30 it looks like. 15.30, stop just above it. 15.50, about 20 cents. And it just kept dropping. Look at that. So this was my best trade on Thursday. And now I like it as a short based on the hourly chart. We got a base breakdown. It would be ideal if the stock bases for a couple hours on Friday, on Monday, tomorrow, a couple hours more or so, and then that allows the 20 MA to catch up. And then I always prefer that my entries occur at or near the 20 MA, so not far from it. But I like it short under the base with a stop over the Sparse high. So basically right here, stop right here, and then target. I think this is probably at all-time lows. Yeah, who knows what the target is? You just have to trail it, because for targets I always look to the left to see where the support is, so I can cover, so I can exit at support. If there's no support, then there's no way for me to know where the stock might stop at, might come down to and bounce off of. There's no way for me to predict that, so I just have to trail it, to manage it basically, okay? So that's the BDTX, I like a lot. Now Bitcoin collapsed on last week, and we talked about Bitcoin a lot in the room and what to do with it and all that stuff. I don't even have the Bitcoin charts up right now, but in terms of stocks, those are the two that look the best. Bitcoin stocks. Of course, you know, I don't even know what the Riot. Yeah, Riot looks lower still, for sure. Looks lower still. Mara looks lower, but they're down a lot. Extended, those two are better in my opinion. The only unfortunate thing about them, especially the BTT, is that it already triggered on Friday, but I'm not in it, so you know, so that's the only issue. But look at it. It's a tight base breakdown under several months. I mean, look at this. Under all of this, it should definitely get down to about $5, down to here, basically that support area on the BTBT. So even though I am late on it, it already triggered. I should already be in it from Friday. It still has $3.50 to go. So I like it. And then the SOS, let's take a look at it together. Open, zoom out a little bit. It should get down to at least $2. I would say $2 for sure. Maybe even the all-time low at some point. But for now, $2. So I like it. I like it lower. SOS did not trigger yet. So I like it under 290 with a stop over 337 or 360 if you want to be safer. But notice that, you know, the more room you give it, the less shares you can put on, okay, because the more risk you would have. So I like it a lot under 290. So those are a couple of Bitcoin stocks. This list is sorted alphabetically. CCXI for sure, like lower under the base. People think, oh my god, this stock was $50 just 2 weeks ago. Are you sure it's a short? Well, look at the chart. What does the chart say? Ignore the price. Forget about the price. What does the chart say? Does it say it's going higher or lower? It's going lower. It looks lower under the base. Okay, stop above it. So I like this a lot. Under the base, stop over 1080, let's say. Okay, we talked about the GPS already. GPS and AEO and KSS and LB. Of these four, I said the GPS and the AEO are my favorite, and we talked about the SOS as well, as Bitcoin stock. So all right, so I guess that wraps it up. That's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and again, if you would like to help support our channel, be sure to hit the like button. If you have any questions for us, info@t3live.com. Email us at info@t3live.com. And if you want to find out more about my services and the newsletter and what I do, Links are in the description of the video below. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will talk to you next time. Take care, everybody.